Hello, welcome to the Cyber Operations and Risk Management Briefing for Team Canada. This presentation was created by the Team Canada members, which include Adesina Okorinde, Avery Ballard, Chris Hyun, Raymond Hames, and Sherilyn Steele. The agenda for the presentation will cover the following topics: software assurance needs and expectations, software assurance objectives, software development lifecycle, or SDLC, evaluation of software options, supply chain risks, supply chain options, and recommendations. Software assurance. So software assurance is defined as the level of confidence that software functions as intended and is free of vulnerabilities, either intentionally or unintentionally designed or inserted as part of the software throughout the lifecycle. Software assurance needs are needs that drive technical requirements, and these can include deliver goals outlined by business requirements, security of data, and client satisfaction. Expectations help define management issues, and these include cost of development that fits within a budget, software delivered within a reasonable time frame, and security monitoring. Software assurance objectives. The main objective of software assurance is to ensure that the processes, procedures, and products used to produce and sustain the software conform to all requirements and standards specified to govern those processes, procedures, and products. A secondary objective of software assurance is to ensure that the software-intensive systems we produce are more secure. Software Development Lifecycle, or SDLC, can be defined as a structured process that enables the production of high-quality, low-cost software in the shortest possible production time. Though there are many SDLC methodologies or models, each has its own version of phases, which usually include requirements analysis, design, development, testing, and maintenance. SDLC options. The Government of Canada will be reviewing several options for its selection of an SDLC methodology. These will include Waterfall, Lean, Agile, and DevOps. SDLC evaluation. The Government of Canada reviewed and assessed the potential SDLC methodologies and provided a pros and cons list for each. First, we have the waterfall methodology. Its pros include it's a linear and easy to maintain path, it's great for smaller projects, and it's a repeatable process. The cons are that it's not scalable, difficult to adapt to changes in requirements, and excludes clients and testing until the product is completed. Next, we have the lean methodology. Its pros include removes unnecessary process stages when designing software to save time, prioritizes essential functions and removes risk of wasting resources, and increased emphasis on teamwork. Lean cons include fast-paced nature may overwhelm developers, product may suffer due to emphasis on cost versus quality, and it will be hard to scale due to heavy involvement of teams. Next, we have the Agile methodology. Its pros include focuses on smaller incremental changes in sprints, which emphasizes quality over quantity, adaptable to changes in requirements or functionality, and customer involvement in testing and input. Its cons are it's not good with rigid schedules or deadlines, development may be reactive and not proactive, and there's a less emphasis on documentation. Lastly, we have the DevOps methodology. The pros for the DevOps methodology include continuous integration and delivery means faster product releases, reduce obstacles involving operational issues, less chance of product failure. And the cons are security is still a concern, requires a large suite of tools, and still relatively new to organizations. Supply chain risks in software involves managing risk in the sense of building, buying, deploying, and maintaining software. This can include software that is commercially available, developed in-house, or open source. These risks include software may be over budget due to several factors, including enhancements requested by the client, changing requirements, incompatibility or inoperability, or which SDLC methodology is used. Another risk is security vulnerabilities arise due to insecure coding practices, lack of test plans, security was excluded during planning stages, or the dependence of external suppliers. Supply chain risks continued. There's also another form of supply chain risks called supply chain attacks. Rather than attacking an organization directly, a software supply chain attack targets the vendor software that's used by the targeted organization. Typically, the attackers attempt to exploit some weakness in the vendor's development or delivery lifecycle and attempt to inject malicious code before an application is signed and certified. This way, the attacker can exfiltrate data from targeted organization. Supply chain risk management. So what can the government of Canada do to manage supply chain risk? Supply chain risk management requires collaborative security, identifying suppliers/vendors, performing vendor due diligence, and developing processes to minimize risk. And now we conclude with recommendations. The Government of Canada has decided to utilize the Agile methodology for its software development. There will be a requirement that the enterprise security team will be involved during the initial planning stages to improve security and remove any compatibility issues developers and vendors may encounter. The Government of Canada believes that the Agile methodology will provide the following: adaptability to changing requirements, reasonable costs, satisfy business requirements, and place an emphasis on quality over quantity. Another requirement will be continuous testing of the system, including software and infrastructure, to ensure a strong security posture. It is also recommended that the Government of Canada perform vendor due diligence on all external suppliers and vendors. Vendor due diligence is a process by which an organization examines a current or potential vendor's risk to its business operations. This step will mitigate supply chain attacks. Budgeting for these recommendations will include suppliers/vendors, external software testing and pen testing teams, and the creation of an internal audit team to perform vendor due diligence. This concludes the presentation. Thank you for your time.